Look, all I'm saying is that a chick with 6 nipples sounds exactly like the last boss of a video game.
Welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 163, for the 30th of October, 2018. Happy All Hallows Eve, people. You can get in contact with us by emailing us at cosmicgodsdie at gmail.com. Facebook is Swine Brothers, and Twitter is always SwineBro666, where I post replies. I am your ever idiotic host, Elliot Lindemood, and I have a co-host, the usual gang of idiot, and a guest. Hello, idiot.
I am the Jim, the head idiot in charge of idiocy and being killed constantly.
And we have a special guest on this All Hallows Eve extravaganza.
I'm Jeanie from You Good Herd Gods. Good evening.
Yes. Long-term listeners of the show, are there any? Be honest. May remember in 2016 where we had Ryan from Intestinal Disgorge, The Howling Void, and a bunch of other awesome projects on. And I said that this was going to be a fairly regular feature. Well, 2 years later, it is a regular feature, I guess. We are open to interviews, so if you like, yeah. Jim, how did you get into this particular musical evil?
How did I get into it?
Yeah.
It was pretty much during the Metalgate thing, whenever people were pretty much trying to shit on and cancel a shit ton of shows. And she ended up coming on board to keep us posted on a few things happening up in Canada we didn't know about. So,
oh yes, this is an international show.
And just kind of bumped into the music there. I was like, "Hey, that's cool." And then I fed it to you.
I had heard the name like once, I think Scott, and you mentioned it, and then you sent you showed it to me, and it was funny because I joined Metalgate a little bit later. Weirdly enough, right around the time it died, I always wondered if maybe I accidentally killed Metalgate just by showing up.
So I just don't think anyone understood it at the time. It was kind of, ahead of its time.
I also don't think there was sort of enough willpower to really keep it going. It's,
Well, there's that. Plus, it's the same battle as always because people have been trying to cancel shows since the dawn. Oh, they tried to cancel Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one saw a need for anything special.
So let's start off. I heard the first album, and it was awesome. The first album reminds me a lot of Inquisition, just heavier, which is good. I love Inquisition. So I was interested. Yes, right. That's a compliment. I was interested to hear what the second album sounds like, and it still has a bit of Inquisition tendencies, which again is good, but a lot more otherness. I guess would be a Jim. You can back me up on this.
It's more or less you got the black metal backing for everything, but they mix in like pretty much every other style and actually do so successfully, unlike a lot of projects where it sounds disjointed. This is fluid.
Incredibly fluid. The style I'm trying to describe it to the viewers at home. Well, viewers, listeners. Black Death, heavy. I call the reverse Satan's Host. Satan's Host is a band who now mixes power metal with black and death, but starts off as power metal. It's sort of the reverse. By the way, Patrick is a fan of the band. Patrick Evil, who I'm trying to get on this show, by the way. So let's start off. How did you form this band? What was the impetus?
I originally just decided to start recording music. So I actually intended to make a demo in order to attract band members, and I ended up just writing an entire album's worth. So I just put that out, but it was like a demo version. And then by 2015, I'd found other people to play with. So we re-released that, like a little bit better production. And just started playing live. That's about it.
Yeah, I believe it's a full band now. I don't have the list of everyone.
Yeah, we've got Matt Riley on bass, Matt Taljan on drums, and Gord Olson does the vocals, and also he does lead guitar.
And he's also in a great band called The Misery, which you should also check out.
True. Very good stuff.
Yes. I did want to bring up the vocals for a minute because he sounds. I was listening, and it's sort of a mix of black and like old death metal. A little bit of Asphyx, a little bit of Obituary, some death, and
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, you heard that right.
Yeah, my hearing works.
Yeah, he's definitely influenced by old death metal, you know, like Sinister and
Oh yeah.
Monstrosity and stuff like that.
So basically, my entire musical collection.
Yeah, what happened was originally, like, okay, way back, I actually played mainly black metal, but I found that when I just sat down as a songwriter for my first real attempts, you know, like just me and a guitar, it ended up just much mellower, you know, and I'm just like, you know, whatever this is, you can definitely hear like a lot of my old influences, like from when I was growing up, you know, regular heavy metal and everything throughout. I generally say I'm kind of somewhere between Black Sabbath and black metal, you know, so
Oh
in
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, you can
But
hear a lot of heavy metal in it.
so when I first asked Gord to sing on the demo, he was trying to sing a bit more of a black metal style. And then, but when we started playing live, it sounded better when he'd go lower, right? And we're like, oh yeah, you should just sing lower. And so it became more of a death metal sound, I guess. And then to match that, I tuned down the guitars. So the old album is just standard tuning. This album is a whole step lower.
Well, yeah, and it's sorry, I got this. My screen reader just went off right now. Perfect timing, screen reader. Yeah, it works very well. I think. I mean, everything. The drummer. I'm sort of. I wouldn't say I'm a drummer, but I pay attention to a lot of the. Jim knows whenever we reviewed albums, I'm always focused on the drums
Yeah.
a lot. So I was listening to the beats of the what the drummers. He's doing very very good stuff. So you said influences. So everything from, as you said, Black Sabbath to black metal. I mean,
Yeah.
you can really hear that in the album. You can hear. I mean, I've heard a bit of Maiden in there. I even heard a bit of like Dissection. And
Yeah.
There were bits and pieces like throughout there. I kept saying that's just pure new age British heavy metal, new wave.
New Age.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. I got off work.
No.
That'll be the new genre, eh? New age heavy metal.
New Age. Yes, John Cage doing fucking Iron Maiden covers. Um, but I mean, I even heard. I mean, the second track, "Remember Me," could almost be a melodic death metal song.
Yeah.
The good kind of melodic death, not the U.S. You know, we're metalcore, but we heard some death metal. I mean, the good kind of melodic death.
Yeah. I do definitely love those bands. I listen to a lot of Swedish death metal.
Just one thing. Where did what kind of incantation was that for "Remember Me"? While we were talking about that song,
Malay.
Malay. Was it
Yeah.
any specific kind of ritual or anything, or?
Actually, when I wrote it, okay, I wrote the music first, and what it was just generally about in my mind was just basically a song to say, you know, when I'm gone, you know, think of me, kind of thing, kind of a you know, sentimental sort of piece. And then I just happened to be reading The Golden Bough, I think it's called, by can't remember, it's Fraser or something like that. Can't remember. Anyways, it's a really
I know the book. I can't remember.
well-known book. And when I got to this thing here, I was like, whoa, that would fit perfectly. You know, that just I just knew it would fit with the music I had. And actually, it's a curse, though. The real thing is supposed to be a curse. Like if you do that kind of thing, it's probably sort of like a voodoo type of ritual.
It,
But yeah,
it can be sort of like Burzum, or like
Made wretched by the music.
no, well, it could be like Burzum, where a curse to some is a blessing to others, or darkness to some is light to others, or things like that.
Yeah.
Remember Me also has sort of a doom vibe. I for some reason the band My Dying Bride came into mind. I have no idea why. That's just what I thought of.
I could see that. Yeah.
Uh, do you have any other lyrical comments, Jim? Because
Not
there are some
current.
interesting lyrics.
I mean, I'll think of things as I think of them. I'm kind of just random like that.
He thinks of things as he thinks of them. Uh,
Yeah, so I'm rather simplistic at the moment, so sue me.
okay. The lyrics. What would you say the main themes would be on this album?
They're mainly about death.
That's always fun.
Yeah, most of them are about just kind of dealing with death and loss. Obviously, rib spreader's just an angry thing, and
I always thought Rip Spreader was a tribute to Raga Johansson. He's in a band called Rib Spreader and Paganizer and about a billion other bands.
yeah, not about anyone in particular, but just something I like to listen to when I'm mad.
Well, yeah, it's great, a great song. That's a great opener. I mean,
Thanks. Then Skull was like kind of a drinking song, just just sort of like giving a toast to remembering people.
yeah,
And some of those lyrics were actual old, I'm not sure, but old legendary kind of or whatever.
And
Adapt to that.
celebrate, remember the fallen in battle.
Yeah.
Or
And then,
drink before you head off.
and then Helldiver is it's very metaphorical. So, but it's basically about, what it's like to be a sociopath.
so basically us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
you want to talk about the Swine Brothers show?
Letting someone into our heads here. Then, let's see, Bones of Humanity. Well, that one's a bit more personal to me, but it's basically when you get, well, I don't know. I was poisoned, right? So that's kind of what this is about. And just basically like being screwed from a young age, or being, screwed, maybe even from birth. So just about, wanting revenge someday. Arduous March was a really fun one for lyrics. Got the idea about that from reading about North Korea and kind of what they went through in the 90s with, trying to stay communist or whatever. And meanwhile, there's floods and, the USSR cut off their supply, and then there's droughts, and I mean, people starving, right? So they actually called it the Arduous March.
Yeah, I think North Korea would have been a better setting for like Breaking Bad as far as how much crystal meth is in the country.
But that would have made White a billionaire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I was thinking about Arduous March, and it really does sound like a martyr. It's very I don't want to say the G word, groovy, but I guess it sort of is. Not in like a Pantera, but in like an obituary type, you know, more of
Yeah.
a marching type of groove rather than a, I'm gonna beat you up, sucker type of,
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. I was going for that.
yeah.
Just sort of trying to propel yourself forward when you're dragging your feet, kind of thing. Dun, 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 dun,
It,
just keep
it,
putting one foot in front of the other.
it almost reminds me of a certain song by a certain thrash metal brand, who's Jim, you might know the band. They released an album called Ironborn last year.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of the opening track off that one. You can
Hmm.
march. Um,
Yeah.
should, should we say the name, Jim?
We'll keep it off air this time. We'll say it next time.
You can look it up if you want to.
It's one of the ones that you probably want to not be associated with. Good music, but yeah, their politics are just that insane.
Yeah, good music, but I mean, good music. It's hell, it's my album of the year last year. And you guess what my album of the year this year is?
Yeah.
But yeah, it does remind me of that particular band. It also
Yeah.
reminds me a little bit of a couple of songs of the new Sodom album, actually,
Interesting.
which is once again a good thing. I like Sodom.
Yeah.
The last song, what was it called? The Unknown City.
The very last song is The Dreaming City.
Oh, the Dream. Sorry,
Yeah.
I've been reading Lovecraft all day, so I thought it was the
Uh,
Dream City.
yeah.
Yeah, that would have been. That's one of the more pure black ones, I think.
That one, I really enjoyed doing. I really worked hard on getting the arrangement just right.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point I was like, I want something here, but I didn't want just a guitar solo either, right? But I just wanted something else. And then it turned into a canon piece, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I don't know if you noticed that part. It just kind of flows by sometimes without even really noticing it. But I was like, oh, cool. It's just like a round in there. So
Oh yeah, I noticed, and I thought it was, I thought it was pretty awesome. I mean,
yeah, you're supposed to be able to just sort of space out to that one.
Yeah, it reminded me. I can think of many bands who have Cannon Round in one of their songs.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then this one is about kind of the yin yang kind of thing, the Chaos Rider is the one who can kind of go between both worlds or whatever.
So it's a very it's an interesting and varied concept. It's not like your album. It's not based on sort of one lyrical theme. It's not based, it's not
the whole. No, each song kind of has its own thing.
Yeah, it's yeah, or it's yeah. So that's I always like when bands do that. As much as I like the last Dissection album, it's always interesting when bands tap into different things who may not always be related to each other.
Yeah, in some way, I'm sure they really actually are, but
Well, yeah, one could say it's one large concept of the of awesomeness.
Yeah, not deliberately a concept album. But...
Now, there's a few things here. Like I noticed going from track to track on a lot of this, it would actually flow even well with like absolutely no pause between the songs and stuff. So, how much work went into actually building this as an album, as opposed to just a collection of songs that you just threw together on an album?
Oh yeah, lots for sure. I try to get a flow going. So one of the things I do is take note of what key the song is in, so that when it goes to the next song, it goes good to that one. Either it's in the same key or a related key. And same with the pace, try to get the rhythm, sort of have an overall arc to the entire album.
It's a musical concept album, I would say. Maybe not, not necessarily lyrically, but I think musically it tells a story. What story may be open to interpretation, but I think musically, there's definitely it's definitely some albums work better on sort of a track by track review. We are pretty sure when we do review the album, which we will because I like reviewing, we'll do more of an overall and mention some tracks because. As you said,
this thing flows, and it's like there's nothing that really stands out because it's all in a similar vein. However, the entire album is good. So it's like, how do you pick out, just the best other than what I'm in the mood for now?
Let me put it another way. I'm sure you've all heard the album Beneath the Remains by Sepultura.
Mm-hmm.
The album is. Can you actually remember, the album is a great album. In fact, it's probably one of the best thrash albums. It's an album where it could also be a concept album in the way that the songs sort of go together, but it's an album of riffs.
Yeah.
This album is an album of riffs. I don't mean to say obviously I remember the songs, but it's an album where the riffs sort of tell a story.
Yeah.
So that that I think that's what he's saying, and so I agree.
In my own idiotic way, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm saying it another idiotic way, but it's just a different form of idiocy.
There we go.
The different form of idiocy show. So, do you have any plans for? When's this coming out? When's it?
It's officially released tomorrow.
Or possibly today if you live in Australia. Or, yeah. So, Halloween, that's a good day for a metal album to be released.
Yeah, yes. Helped me remember it.
The blessing I've had, the thought is upon thee.
The album we'll have links to purchase the album on the show page, obviously, and links to like the band on all the social media platforms. What is this self-released or on a label or?
Just self-released and self-produced.
I mean, it's good enough to be on a huge label, or at least I honestly do think that this album could be, quite big if, people.
If more people heard it than just us three.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that was actually I wanted to ask about that, and this is a fairly thorny subject. Thorny, awesome word. What's your sort of take on free downloads and torrents and things like that? I ask all the musicians this, and you rarely get a concrete, straight answer. So I'm sort of interested in what your take is.
Yeah, well, it makes me sad. I mean, when I was a small child, I actually thought that being a musician could be a career. So I studied music from a young age and actually wasted money taking lessons and going to college for music. So I put a lot into it. It's a lifetime of work and effort, and it just kind of hurts my feelings when people just take it as if it meant nothing, but at the same time it makes me kind of mad because they obviously do like it or they wouldn't take it and listen to it. So.
If I may play sort of devil's advocate here, which one could say that, I mean, because I will admit that I download some music for free, but if I love the album, I'll buy it and I'll support the band and you should always buy and support music that you truly love.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think I think downloading stuff for free would be a good way to get people interested in music, but I think people should always buy and support bands that they like. I don't understand people who just get music and don't try to support the. I mean,
Yeah, it's just a sad situation.
yeah. I mean, it's because, like I said, I mean, for this band, for example, and it's not just because you're a friend or whatever. It's I legitimately like this band. It's funny because people don't understand. Hey, if we didn't like it, we'd probably say so, right, Jim?
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, there's people we disagree with that we like the music, but we say they're idiots all the time.
well, at the same time, I have friends who I've never liked anything they've put out. I mean, they're great people, but the music just doesn't do anything for me. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I fully expect people to support this, project because it's a great project. Um,
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I just think that if you want to know what I really think about it, I think there's basically a war on capitalism. And I think that musicians are just one of the first pawns an easier one that they knew they could take. So they understood that musicians are quite vulnerable, right? When people want to tear people down, one of the first people some think of are rock stars, and people don't understand that a lot of it is just media promotion and stuff like that. Like a lot of us people that we thought were so well off and everything were barely surviving.
Another problem, of course, is there's a conception which doesn't work with, say, self-released bands or whatever. Is, well, it's all going to the label, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, maybe for a band like Metallica, it won't matter. But there's this mentality that, like I said, it's all going to the labels or whatever. But even
people are worried about money going to the big corporation or something like that. Well, that is where it's going. It's all going to the whatever the sorry, I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean, like
distributor.
Well, like not even record labels, but just computer nerds. Sorry,
they label. I mean, well, I'd also say, I mean,
like they just basically stole everyone's music and then they're making money off it.
Yeah, I mean, but I'd also say, I mean, I do enjoy getting CDs. I don't get as much as I used to, unfortunately, because after I got ripped off, it's just sort of been like, I get albums that I like, but hey, you can't roll a joint on a fucking a folder of MP3s, can you? That should be that's a rite of passage for everyone. I think, at least. But no, I strongly encourage people to go out and buy this album, and if you like it, support the band. I mean, promote them. Like that's something Jim knows. I've always liked to promote bands that I enjoy. Sometimes to the point where he's probably like, "Will you shut the fuck up about Coven or Satan's Host or?"
No, I'm not like that.
Shut up. We get the point. You like them.
No, I can just scroll past that if it gets annoying. But I understand the whole point. I annoy people once, like, hey, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. No, Jim.
Yes. So yeah, it's, as far as, like I said, I think the album flow. I mean, the album could probably just be one. Like musically, it could be one long track. Like I think Impiety did that a long time ago with like 31-minute song, I think.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that. I was actually just thinking I could have done that, and then it'd be like, oh wow, they released a 30-minute song. How impressive!
Well, yeah, watch it in 6 months, limited edition copy. And what's the album called?
This album is called Ashes Shall Be Made of Them.
Awesome. And you should also get the first album as well.
Yes,
Becoming Flesh.
Yes. It's funny because I'm on this there's a show called Black Knight Meditations, and they actually do play your stuff. I'm trying to get them to play the new album. Get ready to play. Jim, do you have any other questions or?
There's nothing else. Everything. The only other question that popped up was already answered.
Sorry.
That's where I am.
Well, yeah, right.
If you want to, we can find other things to talk about with a couple fun articles.
Okay.
Let me get this set up here. And if you want to hang out, you can. Jeanie, that'll be cool.
Yeah, we're gonna do some articles, and you can hang out if you want to.
I'll see if I can contribute. I don't want to embarrass my bandmates too much.
Oh, this might embarrass them right here.
Oh,
We're nothing but embarrassment.
Wait, really quick. Fine, I'll embarrass your bed. No, just I did want to ask. You're one of the Demisery bandmates is in a band with Alex Webster of Cannibal Corpse. I did do some research. He's with Jeff Loomis and Alex Webster of Cannibal Corpse.
That's right.
I can remember the name of the band. I'm blanking. Oh, wait. Google to the rescue!
Conquering Dystopia?
Let me see here. It's actually really good. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like progressive death or thrash, but it's actually... I recommend listening to it. Let me just look this up really quick. Jim, cover for me.
No, we have. From a science enthusiast, Pornhub drops 25 grand on scientist research for porn.
Interesting.
The popular porn site that I totally visit only to read the articles, so says the author.
Conquering Dystopia is the band name, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Has given 25 grand to researchers to study porn to help make it a better experience for the end user.
I could go really nerdy right now, so I will. I mean, I read a bit of it, and the fiction, and I'll go nerdy and say that what could actually give me a better experience is more plot. I understand that's not always what everyone's looking for, but I actually want some plot and some like pacing in this.
I like the old school ones. There was the one I saw with my buddies while we were partying. It's called Masseuse, and there was this huge plot where like this chick was slowly going insane because she was pretty much a high-end prostitute. And then at the end, she committed suicide, and like we didn't understand why.
Well, I mean, so I have very odd tastes in what I read, as we've talked about, and
Yeah.
I like it to be slow and sort of novel type.
This means that Omri Gillith, a University of Kansas psychology professor, along with collaborators Dr. Eterit Geweritz Median, I'm butchering these names horribly,
Yes,
as per the usual, and doctoral candidate Katie Adams are the first researchers in the history of history to receive money from a pornography website to research porn.
well, that would be an interesting album, actually, to write about.
I don't know how they're going to construct their study, but I volunteer in advance to be involved. I wouldn't. Gonna have a hand free.
Yes. It takes all kinds now. Of course, one could also say, "Wow, leave it to a college to make porn boring.
Maybe. I mean, they have lots of studies on there saying, who's watching what and like what the big words are around. Like, heck, I'd have to actually go look up some of that stuff, but they have these huge pie charts that say, okay, and for the month, everyone was looking for daddy's girl porn, and, for the year, Australia likes, big feet.
Yes. So what do you want in your porn? How can we help you?
And the project is part of their Pornhub Sexual Wellness Center grant, which was created by Pornhub's philanthropic organization, Pornhub Cares.
Yeah.
They give money. They care.
I just think it's hilarious that someone actually thought this would be an idea. Let's see things to do today. Take the dogs out. Study porn.
Yes. This isn't Pornhub's first foray into collecting data. They've published 5-year in reviews on their site detailing how we use their site. In 2017, a report said, once again, we did find a lot of hosting this year, catering to some 28.5 billion visitors.
That's a lot. But then again, I mean, it's always funny when people say, when people try to defend the P word, and Jim, you know what the P word is? Starts with a P, ends with an A. A-N-T-E-R-A.
Yeah.
When people try to defend the P word and say, well, they were really popular, and someone made a good point that if we judged art by how popular it is, the only type of art that would actually matter in this world would be pornography and wallpaper.
Oh, heck, the first thing we're trying to do with our robots is turn them into sex bots.
By the way, I did post the Slayer conservative thing if you want it.
Okay, I'll go check that out as soon as I'm done with this.
Well, yeah, we're trying to turn it into, whereas I would want to turn robots into, unstoppable killing machines.
Everyone wants the killing machines.
Well,
I want laser beam eyes. See, when just before I expire, I want my brain transplanted into a robot with laser beam eyes. That is all.
Is anyone else scared by that remark?
Everyone should rejoice. The day that Jim shall arrive.
Yeah, and you'll be elected president.
After my brain's been transplanted.
The scene from Futurama where Nixon gets elected president and he's on this gigantic robot body, smashing all the monuments of to the White House.
That's pretty much what I would do. Yes.
Jim's back.
Which turns out to be an average of 81 million people per day, with 24.7 billion searches performed on the site this year. There was clearly a lot to find, and this translates into about 50,000 searches per minute and 800 searches per second.
I wish we got that. I wish we got those kinds of views. Actually, maybe not, because if we got those kinds of views, some of the things we've said on this show would probably...
Oh, God. Oh, well, yeah, we are the sewer.
Yes, we are the sewer of the internet.
This is also incidentally the same number of hamburgers that McDonald's sells every second, which has nothing to do with us, but somehow makes the numbers easier to digest.
Unlike McDonald's food.
Yeah. In addition to gathering data, they have also worked to make porn more inclusive. Earlier this year, Pornhub optimized their website for visually impaired users.
Well, but we just read. We read it. We don't.
Maybe you should see if they got enough there for you to read.
Yeah, but you should see what my interest in porn is. It's not exactly sex.
Yeah, I know. It's all that mind control stuff.
Yeah, right. And
which I say is a fascinating subject. What would be going through your head as you're compelled to do things you don't want to do?
No, it's extremely fascinating. I've always had a soft spot for it. What I'm saying is like basically that it. Whenever I read it, it's not actually the sex part that I'm interested in. It's more of the what's going through your head because yeah, you're being turned into this robot or whatever you're turned into, but you can still the best ones are the ones that people can like. Yes, I have to obey you, but God, I hate you.
That's the best there.
Yeah, there was one story where this person was, hypnotized, but she knew that the person doing it was evil, but she just had to obey.
Yes, they're already advertising for Cthulhu in 2020 U.S. election.
Fuck Cthulhu. That's Cthulhu's so overrated. I mean, I love the guy, but
Yeah, people ruin him.
Azathoth 2020. The Azathoth, for those of you who don't know, he he created space and time, or he created reality completely by accident, and will be equally oblivious when he destroys it.
Yes, and he has all these gods singing to him around his star.
With flutes.
And no one knows if he actually cares about that or not.
Who knows if he even understands what it is?
Yeah. It's great.
It's, yeah, that is, yeah.
This is a god worthy of worship, is it not?
This is a god worthy of a concept album. Just saying.
They also gave 25 grand scholarship to support women in STEM. And Pornhub also plowed Boston a bit last year during a large snowstorm. However, there's some speculation as to how widespread the action was.
Action.
Sure or not, things like this aren't what you'd expect from a site built to help you get your rocks off. Inverse reported, with the 25 grand grant, the team will conduct 3 studies over the next 18 months investigating the concern that porn is part of a day-to-day life, for some even more, but we know literally nothing about its short and long-term effects.
This is actually something, not to sort of get into the philosophical point, and I want to.
You want to what? Hello?
Sorry, I had to. Someone came in. Just to sort of, I wanted to sort of get into the philosophical point. What defines pornography? Because, if you, I mean, have you ever seen the show Top Gear?
Not really.
But I'm sure you know about it. It's about,
I know about it. Yeah,
would
it's
you
about
say that that's
cars.
not porn in some way?
If you're really into cars, maybe.
It is car porn. So, I mean, what? I could even go. Here. I'm gonna go really weird here. Would metal be porn if you're really into metal?
There we go.
There, I think
I mean, it's also another thing I've seen with people who like actually watch a lot of porn, have seen it a lot growing up, that they've become completely desensitized towards anything sexual.
I know people who actually watch it to study it, like well, that was some really bad acting, and oh, come on, that line was really corny, and I mean, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. You look at any of this through any kind of realistic lens, it's going to be, because the whole point is just to hurry up and get there so that you can watch the rocks getting off.
Yeah, right. Whereas, I mean, well, that's the lowest common denominator.
Like the Anus family,
Yes,
which was the Addams family.
or Edward Penis Hands.
Lovely.
Edward Penis Hands was a real movie.
Pornhub's visitor statistics give a sense of how ubiquitous porn has become. According to a 2017 internal report, Pornhub has received 28.5 billion visitors in a year. That's a lot of people watching in privacy, at least compared to Peep Show patrons and Nudie Mag subscribers of past years. Research like this makes sense. There's not much data out there to tell us if watching porn is good or bad for our health. There are many anti-pornography organizations who claim that pornography is detrimental to the health in society.
It also helps to find if we know what exactly pornography is,
Yeah,
because all it really is, I mean, if one wanted to and one was obtuse enough, as we are, both both in mind and body, haha, fat jokes.
yeah,
um, we could say that. I mean, anything that excites you, you don't have to get your rocks off to it, but anything that really excites you, that you're really interested in. I mean, the sound of a car engine for Ferrari is car porn. There's a reason why it's called car porn. So I'm not saying people actually ejaculate to it, although probably, but some people, So it helps if we define what pornography. I mean, some people use Christ as fucking porn.
yep.
The people who are really into religion. I mean, they yes, God is porn.
Inverse also spoke with the lead researcher for this study, who raised the important point that, for better or worse, many people are getting their sexual education from watching pornography online.
Well, you're at a high school. I don't know. Is Jeanie still here, or did she leave? Or...
I think she left.
Okay. But in high school in America, at least,
I think she found nothing she wanted to contribute to here.
Sex education is all about abstinence only.
Yeah.
So the only way you can really see what sex is porn, which of course is unrealistic. So that
Yeah. So what Pornhub is trying to do now is making sure that it's treating seriously its role in society. It's entertainment, sure. It's a source of arousal, of course. There's also an educational source we need to be serious about as well. For many people, especially youth, sites like Pornhub are taking place of sex ed. A BMJ open study in 2014 illustrated this to public dismay by showing that exposure to pornography is causing teen boys to have undue expectations about anal sex from girls.
That's not porn's fault. That's the school's fault, because the school would rather show abstinence only than safe sex or real expectations about sex or whatever. No, we should all just teach these kids to be abstinent only.
Yeah. I alluded to it before, but I think a huge part of society's hang up with pornography and sex education stems from propaganda created by religious groups. They've been successful at reinforcing substance-only sex education.
Yes, I could have written this shit.
Yeah. They also say ridiculous things like men prefer debt-free virgins without tattoos.
Or women prefer long penises.
Yay.
Or whatever. Yeah, I think both of it's to blame. I mean, I think so. And also, you'll see in sex ed books in high schools now that touching another person's genitals can get them pregnant.
Yay.
So you have a lot of so you have a lot of misinformation here. So where are people going to go? They're going to go to where it's most. I mean, I don't know if porn should be really used as education. Oh, that would be awesome. Realistic porn. It lasts 30 seconds and then you start crying.
Uh-huh.
But I think that maybe someone should do realistic,
research. Like I said, there's that thing where kids just seem to be desensitized to sex entirely, I've seen, as they got older.
Yeah, so, but basically, Christians, it's your fault again.
Yeah. Anyway, Slayer's Tom Araya rallies fans by sharing conservative versus liberal posts.
Yes. because I mean, really, are you really, we care so much about what artists think or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I think it's hilarious personally. I missed this. I was on vacation, so I actually missed this when it happened.
Tom Araya is ruffling the feathers of his fans yet again. On his official Instagram account yesterday, the 57-year-old musician posted a meme illustrating the difference between conservatives and liberals, meant to highlight the supposedly extreme responses that the latter group has in response to certain hot-button issues. Example, if a conservative is a non-believer, he doesn't go to church. A liberal non-believer wants any mention of God and Jesus silenced.
Which isn't exactly true, but it is. But then again, I know some conservatives who want mention of God and Jesus silenced. They just want it, replaced by the fatherland or whatever.
Yeah. And it's whenever you get to the extreme side of things happen like that.
Well, I mean, that's the problem. Is the extreme left has become mainstream.
Yeah, and that's bringing the extreme right along with it. Both sides need to be shut down.
Yes, both of them.
Back to the underground where they belong.
Yes, where we could just laugh at them more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not like, I get why I do sort of get why people are worried about both the extreme left and extreme right, because if one of those sides comes to power, it will be horrible.
All right, post this list with his own note reading. With all the crazy shit going on, I have to ask. I sit on the fence of reason. Comments and opinions welcome.
Okay, well, I mean, he posted it. Big deal. I mean, that's what I social media, man.
Yeah. If a conservative doesn't like guns, he doesn't buy one. If a liberal doesn't like guns, he wants all guns outlawed. If a conservative is a vegetarian, he doesn't eat meat. If a liberal is a vegetarian, he wants all meat products banned for everyone.
Which, of course, if a conservative is a vegetarian, he thinks that all meat eaters should be killed, just like liberals. Basically, there's a point where the far left and far right meet each other, and
Agree. Lots of people have to die in
yes,
order to make this thing a reality. It's just they have different means of reaching that conclusion.
yes. So, I mean, I'm not saying Tom's, right. He's misinformed as hell, but still.
If a conservative is down and out, he thinks how to better his situation. A liberal wonders who's going to take care of him.
Yes, I've always wondered who's going to take care of me. Oh, me.
If a conservative doesn't like a talk show host, he switches channels. Liberals demand that those they don't like be shut down. Oh, God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I've seen so many righties go after Stern throughout the years.
How many times?
That's when I was a pup, going after Howard Stern, saying, "Shut him down, shut him down."
Say what you want about what Bill Maher became, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Righty went after him when he said something to the effect of, which in 2001, which I thought was a very prescient comment, was something to the effect of, yes, it's a cowardly thing to do to attack a plane with buildings, but so is it a cowardly thing to do to drop bombs on a country from thousands of miles away that did nothing right, that did nothing wrong. And sponsors pulled their ads and the show went off the air. Thanks to religious right protest groups. So what the righties go after talk show hosts all the time.
Yeah.
You just don't hear about it as much anymore.
Yeah, because it's mostly the left doing it right now. But as the paradigm shifts, it's going to eventually go that way again. Because once you hit the extreme end, it's like, well, we want only our voice heard. Fuck anyone else.
Which I thought was always funny when conservatives went after Howard Stern. I mean, he's pretty conservative in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an act he plays.
Exactly.
Very annoying act. I've never found him funny, but
If a conservative decides he needs health care, he goes about shopping for it or may choose a job that provides it. Liberal demands that the rest of us pay for his.
Yeah, and most of the people complaining about welfare are on welfare.
Yeah.
And also, I must add that most conservatives, I don't want your handouts, but I'll take your handouts. Basically, conservatives have sort of a, and I'm not saying people on the left don't. I'm just saying that, we might as well do some right bashing. We've done enough liberal bashing. Conservatives have this whole by the bootstraps mentality, and then it goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So,
If a conservative reads this, he'll forward it so his friends can have a good laugh. A liberal will delete it because he's offended. Yeah, and then he asks his question. Comments and opinions are welcome.
Yeah. Wait, but conservatives delete shit because their friends are offended? I had one guy who deleted shit because he said the word fuck and that offended his friends. And I deleted the post because I used bad language.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen the blocking go on all the time. It's like,
well, I still love the time when I made a sort of a double standard joke where I said, Trump, a liberal blocks a conservative. Stupid liberal can't take the truth. Trump blocks a liberal. Trump blocking the evil terrorists. And somebody read that and thought I was a Trump supporter. When what I was really doing was making fun of the double standard of conservatives.
Yeah.
People are dumb.
Well, they gotta take whatever they can.
Well, yeah, and we live in the social media society where people have to, have strong opinions.
Arias courted controversy last year, posting a Photoshop picture of his van hanging with President Donald Trump, the Slayer's official Instagram account. At the time, Araya laughed it off, telling Chilean radio station Futuro 88.9 that I'm in Slayer. Being in Slayer, sometimes you do stuff like that just to piss people off.
Well, yeah.
Is that not why we do this show? Sometimes we just feel like pissing people off because they're getting too high and mighty.
Sometimes I feel serious, and other times it's just like,
yeah, fuck it. These people are being cuntwads. I'm gonna kill them. With words. And watch them have heart attacks.
As we devour the unborn.
In the same interview, he also lashed out at the anger that the photo generated in his fans, saying, it's become a bunch of people that because they didn't get their way, they're mad. I shared a picture that I thought was funny and they can't even take a joke. They can't even laugh at themselves. They can't even have fun. And that's just amazing that it's what it's come to. We're a nation of crybabies. Yep.
I mean,
that we are. Left, right, you'll hear it all the time.
But Hillary should have won because it's like.
But she didn't.
Even if my person didn't, I mean, I don't get so wrapped up in politics that I take it personally. Because
politics is a shit show. Nobody has the answer. It's all just a series of trade-offs. So you go with what you can hack.
I mean, even if I like someone's beliefs, they would not want to meet me. They would not like me. So why would I lose any sleep if they lost?
Uh-huh.
Fuck them. And that includes you, who I voted for.
Representatives for Slayer at the time of the Trump picture told Rolling Stone that it was not something the band would have posted if asked, and that it does not belong on Slayer's social page.
It probably didn't. It probably belonged on his own personal page, not Slayer's page.
Uh-huh. Slayer recently announced that they would be extending their farewell tour into 2019. The band is currently set to kick off their last batch of shows this year on Thursday with a date at Dublin Arena in Dublin.
I wonder when the reunion happens.
Guess I'll stop listening to Slayer because he said the no words. Orange Man is bad.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Whereas I listen to bands that have NS beliefs, and
Yeah.
so it's. I just think it's funny. It's. We live in this era where people will stop listening to bands because they disagree with. I mean, it's not okay. Maybe if Slayer had it in the lyrics, then, but yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
but really, this was just his personal opinions. That's it.
Ah,
That's it. I'm gonna stop listening to every band who doesn't have my opinion. So basically, I'm gonna stop listening to every band known to man,
yeah,
including the
exactly.
Hurt Gods, because they probably disagree with stuff that I agree with.
Hell, she probably left because we were saying shit she disagreed with. There's
Yeah.
a 50-50 shot of that.
Yeah, but right, but yeah. So I'm gonna stop listening to every band because they disagree with. It's not one thing that I have to say.
Yeah.
So that that's the era we live in, people. Don't let it spread.
Oh, well, that's all I'm getting.
All right, shorter show, but I thought it was a good one.
I did too.
All right, well,
Thanks, Jeanie, for showing up.
yes, we understand that you have other things to do rather than listen to us talk about porn.
Yes.
The Swine Brothers show episode 163 for the 30th of October 2018. Email is Cosmicgodsdie. Facebook is Swine Brothers. Twitter is SwineBro666. Ye Goat Herd Gods. We will have links in the show description and a thumbnail that Jim will post because he's the visual one. Jeanie was a great interview for the gym. I've been Elliot Lindemood. We'll see you later.
These mountains witness shall, so shall these valleys.